What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Nicole Banister, aka Nikki Banz, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. Today is Tuesday, so you already know the vibes. This is Nikki Banz Live! Oh, hello, you gorgeous humans. It is a amazing day. I'm so excited to see you all. Good morning, sunshine. Hi, Dana in the building. What's up, Dana? What's up, JB3? What's up, Peanut? What's up, everybody? It's a pleasure to see you all here. This is your favorite Tuesday show where every single Tuesday I am bringing you the most dynamic, the most interesting, the most exclusive conversations with some of the most fascinating people across the world. In the past couple of weeks alone, we've been doing it big for the Emirates. Okay, we had an amazing YouTuber who is living in the Emirates, Alina Hyatt. She was in the building. A YouTuber telling us her story about being multicultural, being multinational, moving to different countries around the world, New Zealand, Pakistan, the Emirates. We had the one and only, the lady Mayowa, Nigeria's foreign correspondent to the Emirates, literally telling incredible stories from Nigeria and the African diaspora living in the Emirates, in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and beyond. And of course, we had the wildly and amazingly talented Noof Al-Kathiri. Noof is a TV presenter and an MC in the Emirates who is Emirati, my first and only Emirati guest at this point. So we were doing it big for the Emirates the past couple weeks. So you already know your girl Nikki Banz is bringing you the coolest, most exclusive interviews with these amazing humans. And I'm telling you, we do not disappoint. Every single Tuesday, I'm telling you, it's just such a vibe. So thank you all for being here with me. It's great to have you all here. As you already know, this background means I am in sunny Southern California. Yes, that is correct. I have left Cape Town, South Africa. I have escaped the winter in South Africa. As many of you know, South Africa is in the southern hemisphere of the world. So it's not summer like it is in the US and the UK. No, it is winter in South Africa right now, which means it's cold, which means the girl Nikki Banz had to say bye. I am literally trying to skip winter in every single country, continent, and hemisphere that I am in. And so far, I'm doing a pretty good job, I can't lie. Spending time in Cape Town and in Zanzibar and in Dubai, and then flipping the script, coming to Los Angeles to enjoy the sunshine. It's just been fantastic. I'm here with my family, my mom, my dad, my brother. The whole Godsi Banister crew is in the building. So it's just great to be able to reconnect with family, reconnect with friends on this side of the world. You know, maybe do some young networking, chit chat, connect with people over here. So it's really just been an incredible vibe. It's great to be back in LA. So it's 11 o'clock in the morning right now in Los Angeles. Tell me where y'all are in the world. Where are you and what time is it? I know in South Africa it's 8 p.m. Y'all gotta tell me, because it's 11 o'clock in the morning here, and the sun is shining. It's beautiful outside. There's, a slight breeze blowing through the palm trees. So LA is a vibe, y'all. LA is a vibe. Hopefully y'all are watching my Instagram stories. Yesterday, I went to an incredible celebration of Juneteenth at Leimert Park. Shout out to everybody who's celebrating Juneteenth across the United States and the world. If you are unfamiliar with Juneteenth, it is a celebration on June 19th that is celebrating the emancipation, the freedom of African Americans in the United States. June 19th was the day when enslaved African Americans, enslaved Black people in Texas finally realized that they were actually free, that there was no more any legal slavery in the United States. This was June 19th, 1865. This was 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln had actually signed into law that there could be no more slavery in the United States. But Texas was just out here keeping slaves, okay? And so that was the day, June 19th, 1865, when all Black people realized that they were free and no longer slaves in the United States. And just for some context, that's not that long ago. 1860, that's not that long ago. That's like my great-grandparents, okay? So this is not that far away. This is a critical part of U.S. history. And I was able to celebrate Juneteenth and the freedom and liberation of Black Americans at Leimert Park yesterday. A gorgeous, amazing celebration of folks. There was music, there was live performances, there was food, all these Black-owned businesses, which your girl Nikki Banz loves a Black-owned business, y'all. Okay, and so it's just a vibe. It was just an incredible, absolute moment of joy. There was basketball tournaments happening. People were rollerblading. It was just incredible. It was awesome. So shout out to Juneteenth, shout out to Lamert Park. That was just amazing. Okay, I'm seeing everybody in the chat. Glad you were able to celebrate it. Yes, I know, insane, but glad I was able to celebrate as well. I see it's 10 p.m. in Dubai. Shout out Dana in Dubai. I see my girl Melissa is in the building in Portland, West Coast, Best Coast. Okay, also 11 a.m. in Portland. Okay, I see Black Nation DJ repping South Africa. Hello, SA in the building. I see my girl Ashley just joined. Hello, Ashley. I love it. I love it. I love to see all you beautiful people. And not only was it a holiday in the United States celebrating Juneteenth, now officially recognized as a federal holiday, back to the motherland, South Africa, it was also a holiday. Shout out Youth Day. It was a day, okay, honestly, we just out here celebrating all these Black people doing incredible things. Okay, Youth Day in South Africa celebrates the day when thousands, I think about 20,000 young people literally walked out of school. In the middle of the school, they walked out protesting apartheid in South Africa. And there's this infamous, beautiful but tragic photo of Hector Peterson, a young school kid, you know, just a couple years old, being shot by the apartheid police and his friends carrying him, his lifeless body. There's this incredibly powerful, tragic photo that's, you know, so symbolic of the youth movement in South Africa. Young people as well were not afraid to stand up to injustice, were not afraid to stand up for their rights and go out and protest apartheid. So shout out to Youth Day, which was just celebrated this weekend in South Africa. Shout out to my boy Chai with Ahmed in the building. Another amazing Nikki Banz live guest. Chai with Ahmed was my first Nikki Banz live guest of the entire year of 2023. An amazing content creator and presenter who specifically reports on Bollywood in Arabic. So for all of the Arab world who loves Bollywood, wants to get involved, but maybe doesn't speak, you know, Hindi or whatever other language the Bollywood movies are in. Okay, so Chai with Ahmed is the one who is bringing you all of the Bollywood content in Arabic and interviewing the most incredible Bollywood stars. So shout out to my homie Chai with Ahmed. Amazing to see you. Black Nation DJ. Yes, June 16th was Youth Day in South Africa. Also celebrating it over the weekend. So yeah, you know, we just out here celebrating the fabulous of Black people all over the world and people of color. You know me, I'm always trying to support women, people of color, the queer community, any marginalized community out there. Your girl Nikki Banz is gonna have a voice for you all. I'm here for you all. And we're going to continue to amplify and showcase your stories. So what's up, everybody? This is Nikki Banz Live. It's Tuesday. And I got to say, y'all can see from the pinned comment here on IG Live, I have no guest today. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. No guest today. Your girl Nikki Banz does not have a guest. It's just going to be me in what I call a fireside chat. There have been a couple times this year where I've been piloting this new thing called a fireside chat, which is where when I don't book a guest on Tuesday, which happens every now and then, you know, mostly I like to be booked and busy. You know, Nikki Banz likes to be booked and busy. But every now and then I don't book a guest on a Tuesday, and I turn the series into what I call a fireside chat. So it's this beautiful moment where I get to have a chance to just connect directly with each of you, just talk to each of you one-on-one about what's on my heart, what's on my mind, what's going through my head at any given moment. And so I'm going to get into that in just a moment. I just want to make sure that before we get to that, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who is watching Started Up. Now, if you don't know what Started Up is my YouTube series that was just released. Season 2 is up now on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/EO_JSCA. Let me type it into the comments because I want y'all to follow and subscribe. And so this is the amazing YouTube show where your girl Nikki Banz is the hostess with the mostest, and I am literally documenting and showcasing the stories of student entrepreneurs across the globe who are competing in one of the most prestigious social entrepreneurship competitions in the world. It's called the Global Student Entrepreneur Awards, and it's this absolutely beautiful series where students from India, from Germany, from Turkey, from Ecuador, from Colombia, from Mexico are all competing for their share of $100,000. It's incredible. I'm talking literally 18, 19, 20-year-olds who are pitching their social impact business ideas, talking about their return on investment, talking about their funders, talking about how they've made money so far, what their idea is, how they're going to change the world. and hopefully going to win the cash prize. It's the second season of the show, and what you guys might have seen is for the last couple of Fridays, I've actually been traveling around the world from Cape Town to Los Angeles, hosting watch parties for everyone in those cities. So shout out to everybody who joined me the past 2 Fridays in Cape Town for the watch parties of episode 1 and episode 2. Shout out to everybody who joined me this Friday, just a couple of days ago here in Los Angeles. And this coming Friday, like in just 3 days, guess where I'm gonna be? Take a guess. Your girl Nikki Banz is gonna be in Paris, okay? Paris, France. Paris, baby, oui. I'm gonna be in Paris this Friday for the finale. It is the finale of Started Up Season 2. It's a mini series, y'all, so it's only 4 episodes. Each episode is between like 35 minutes, 45 minutes long, and the finale is happening this Friday in Paris. Yes, Dana, excited to see the watch party. I gotta post all the pictures. I just got the pictures back from the photographer at the LA watch party. I need to post all of those pictures. But yes, Paris this Friday for the watch party of the finale. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, go ahead and do that now. youtube.com/@EO_GSEA. You can literally just type in GSEA into YouTube, and you're gonna find Started Up. It's just an incredibly inspiring show. There's so much there's so much TV, obviously there's so much content out there in the world, but to really have a show that's so global, highlighting young people from every single country around the world with ideas that could literally change our future, change our planet for the better, that to me is just, chef's kiss, chef's kiss. It's incredible. So go follow Started Up. Shout out to my girl Lizzie who just joined the IG Live. What's up, Lizzie? Lizzie was at the watch party in LA this Friday morning, one of my dear friends from P-Scores. So yeah, go check out Started Up. Go comment, go share, go like, go subscribe. Tell me what you thought. Tell me, what you thought about me as the host, introducing all these shows. I want to hear it all. I want to hear everything. And if you have not subscribed to your girl Nikki Banz's YouTube channel yet, then you can go ahead and do that too. Literally just type in Nicole Banister or Nikki Banz into YouTube. You're gonna find my YouTube channel. Don't type Nikki Banz though. If you type in Nikki Banz, B-E-N-Z, Nikki Banz is an exotic dancer. That is not me. Nikki Banz, not Nikki Banz. So go onto YouTube, go subscribe. Every single interview I've ever done on Nikki Banz Live is there. My speech in Washington, D.C. for winning the Peace Corps Franklin H. Williams Award, that speech is there. Other interviews I've done across YouTube with other YouTubers, other channels, that's all there. So go check out my YouTube, youtube.com/@Nicole Banister, aka Nikki Banz. And if you're not following me on Instagram yet, you can go ahead and follow me @They Call Me Banz. The one and only. Go to the top of your screen, hit that little arrow, hit that follow. Let's get it. Okay, y'all, it's a fireside chat. And so once again, a fireside chat is where I decide to have a beautiful one-on-one conversation with everybody who's tuning in here today. And this is the 4th fireside chat series that I've done. And I'm super excited to share that the topic for today is going with the flow. Going with the flow. And when I say going with the flow, I don't mean that in a sort of lackadaisical, nonchalant way. What I mean is actually being intentional about being in a flow state. So that's what I want to talk to you all about today, because that's something that's really guided me throughout 2023. And I'm sharing this with you all because maybe something I say today will resonate with each of you. Maybe something that I say here today will connect with you in one way or another. So going with the flow and being in a flow state, once again, not in a casual way, but in a very thoughtful and a very intentional way. So when I was in Washington, D.C. In February of this year with the Peace Corps accepting this prestigious award with the United States government, I was with my family. We were sitting at dinner after we had, I had accepted this award. And, I was asking everybody, like, what are you most excited about for 2023? I will pose this question to all of you here on the IG Live, all of you watching on YouTube too. What are you most excited about 2023? And so my response, my answer was, I'm most excited about being in a flow state. I'm most excited about being in a flow state. And let me break down what I mean by that. What I mean by being in a flow state is that everything that I do in my life, in this year and in the future, in perpetuity, must flow. I don't want resistance. I don't want things to be hard. They can be challenging, but there can't be resistance, energetic resistance, but everything needs to flow. And so I had a couple examples of that throughout the year, funny examples, and then sort of, very specific and more thoughtful examples of where things have just been flowing. Because I think oftentimes we get into a state where we are trying to force things, we're trying to push things because we have a certain timeline, we have a certain expectation of when things should be happening in our life, and the universe, God, Buddha, Allah, whatever you believe in, is like, actually, no. We're not going to do things on your time. We're going to do things on my time. Okay? And so that's what I mean by just flowing, is not having resistance to things, not forcing things that actually aren't for you or maybe aren't for you at that time. So I've really been trying to cultivate this energy of being in a flow state and just letting things move, just letting things flow and unfold exactly as they're meant to. So let me give you an example. I am about to do a big Euro trip. Obviously, I'm going to Paris for the start of the, finale. I'm about to do a big Euro trip. And so I had to buy a plane ticket from London back to Los Angeles. Okay, so my brother's 30th birthday is coming up. I needed to buy this plane ticket. And I was like, okay, and this is like a very simple, everyday, practical example of how flowing just like shows up in life. I needed to buy this plane ticket. And so I was looking online. And every plane ticket that I could find one way from London Heathrow to LAX was literally $1,600. Okay, $1,600. Okay, that's a lot of money for a one-way ticket. But obviously, like in summertime in Europe and in the UK and in the US, so obviously prices are all jacked up. And so I was like, fine. I was like, this is just what I'm gonna have to do. Like, I'm gonna have to pay this amount of money. And that price was with me using points. Okay, that price was already with me having transferred my credit card points from my Chase Sapphire Preferred card, transferring those to Virgin Atlantic, okay, Virgin Atlantic, and getting a frequent flyer number with them, transferring them, getting my little triple point bonus. That price was gonna be like the discounted price, okay, which is wild. So I was like, okay. You know what? That's what I have to do. I'm just going to do it. So last weekend, literally before I came to LA last weekend, I was like, okay, I'm just going to have to buy this plane ticket. So I literally typed in all the info, passenger info, credit card info. I was like, I just got to suck it up. I got to pay $1,600 for this flight, whatever. And so I clicked enter to buy the ticket. I wait like 10 seconds, loading, and then error. I get an error message. I was like, okay, that's interesting. There's some kind of error. Maybe the points didn't transfer through. Maybe something didn't happen. I was like, okay. Well, I guess I'll just try this again because I have to buy the ticket, right? And I feel like the longer I wait, it's only going to get more expensive as we get closer. Okay. So I tried again, typed in all my credit card info, typed in all my passenger info. They got my miles info, and then I click purchase. Okay. Click here, submit, purchase. And then once again, I get an error message. And I was like, okay. Now I'm getting a little bit frustrated. Right now I'm getting a little frustrated. I'm like, I need to buy this ticket. It's not going through. What's the problem? And I was like, you know what? This little thing of me buying a ticket right here is not flowing. For whatever reason, this is not flowing. It's not working. I'm literally getting an error message on my screen that this thing isn't working. So instead of getting frustrated, instead of getting mad, instead of being like, this thing isn't working out and I need it to happen right now, I just thought, okay, this thing isn't happening right now. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. It's not flowing. I'm trying to force this thing to happen. It's not happening. It's not flowing. I'm going to let it go. This is literally not meant to be for me right now in this moment. Okay? So I just let it go. I left it. So then I fly to LA. That was in Cape Town. I was trying to book that ticket. I fly to LA. And so, I'm here over the weekend. I was like, okay, let me go try this thing again. Let me go try it again. It wasn't flowing. It wasn't working in that moment. I was literally getting an error message. So let me try it again now. So I'm here in LA and I look it up again and I said, you know what? I'm going to buy this plane ticket. And so I put in the date. I put in my miles. And I decide, you know what, actually, instead of buying a one-way ticket, let me actually buy a round-trip ticket for a time in the future. Because oftentimes buying a round-trip ticket as opposed to a one-way ticket can be more cost-effective. So I was like, let me actually just try putting in a round-trip plane ticket for a random date a year from now. I can either use it or I can shift it to a different flight or whatever. So I go back. I type in my points information, I type in my date, I pick a random round trip ticket, for a year from now, and then again, the one from London to LAX that I need like immediately. I type it in, and all of a sudden, the price comes back as $300. $300. The price comes up as $300. Here I was last week trying to buy a plane ticket for $1,600 US, and it wasn't flowing. It wasn't working in that moment, and I decided not to force it. I left it. I let it go. I came back a couple days later, and all of a sudden, the plane ticket is $300, $1,300 cheaper. Okay, and I was like, well. That is exactly why you do not force things. That is exactly why you let things flow in the moment. And I love this example because it is like a very practical example. Like, I think sometimes when people want to talk about like going with the flow and not forcing things, it's all energetic. It's all woo woo. Like, people want to be like, oh, like, you know, thinking about like the future and thinking about like, oh, like your energetic alignment, your spiritual alignment. But I'm talking about real life practical things where if you don't force things that are not for you and you just let it go, the things that are for you are going to come to you. Okay, I see my girl Dana in the chat being like, no way, saying you believe in it now. It's a very specific example. Yes, exactly. And Ills OG always in here dropping bars. What's up, Queen? Ills saying the universe works when you do the work yourself. And that is 100% correct. When you are in a state of peace, when you are in a state of self-confidence, self-trust, self-love, you know that when things aren't working for you and you try and force them, that it's actually not for you. If there is one thing that you remember from this entire IG live today, please remember that if something is not working for you, then it is not for you. And that is okay. You can let something go, you can leave it. And when you do that, when you release that thing that is not working for you in that moment, then you open up the door and open up space for other opportunities to come in. And that could be anything from buying a plane ticket online and you're getting an error message and it's not working for you, or it can be something huge, right? An opportunity in life, maybe a job, maybe a relationship. If you're trying to force something and it's not flowing, then it is not for you. If it is not working smoothly and beautiful for you, then it is not for you. And I don't want you guys to think that what I'm saying doesn't require hard work, okay? It does require hard work. There will be things that are challenging, right? Now, don't get it twisted. If something is challenging, if something is difficult, that's okay. We all have to do difficult things. We all have to make hard choices and make hard decisions. We gotta do that. That is literally a part of life. So that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you are forcing something to happen or to go through, not just something being hard and you struggle a little bit, but if you are forcing something to happen, then it is not for you. And so that plane ticket example of literally trying to force it to go through, getting an error message, not trying it again, and then saying whatever, khalas, I'm gonna leave it, and then coming back to it sometime later and then actually got this insane discount, an insane deal. I was like, okay, this is exactly why you don't force the things that are like not meant to be. And so that's just one of the examples that I wanted to give you about being in a flow state and going with the flow. Let's take the example now, another example of me being here on Nikki Banz Live. You know me, I love to interview people from all over the world. I want to be booked and busy. Typically, I have my guests booked 2 months out in advance. 2 months in advance, I've got my guests booked for Nikki Banz Live every single Tuesday. When the beginning of this year started, for some reason, I didn't have guests booked, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna force it. I'm not booking anyone. I'm not, I'm trying to reach out to people. It's like kind of not working. And I was like, you know what? It's all going to work out. I have this deep sense of self, this deep sense of trust. It is going to work out. People on Tuesday are going to appear and it's all going to work out. And I'm telling you, at the beginning of this year, in January and February, I did not book a single person for Nikki Banz Live. And every weekend, right before the Tuesday, every Monday, right before the Tuesday, somebody would come to me and say, hey, like, I saw that you got this dope show. Like, I actually want to be on your show. And I'm like, yeah, you should be on my show this Tuesday, 8 p.m. in Cape Town, 10 p.m. Dubai, 11 a.m. in California. Can you come on? And they'd be like, yeah. And it just worked out every single time. Every single time. I even had a guest on the show, this incredible human named Sivan Gessi, who is literally one of South Africa's most prolific actors. He was one of the main actors in The Woman King with Viola Davis and John Boyega. Sivan Gessi was one of the very first people that I ever interviewed on Nikki Banz Live. He was actually my inspiration to start this show in the first place. He was the one that was like, hey, cool, you want to be a host? You want to be a presenter? Nobody knows who you are. you need a show so that people can start to know who you are. I was like, okay, cool. Anyway, I interviewed Civ literally a year ago. And there was a Tuesday when I didn't have a single guest. I didn't have somebody coming up, and I was like, what am I going to do? I'm not sure. And then all of a sudden I get a message from Civ being like, hey, I actually want to be on your show again. I actually want to be on your show again. I want to come back and I want to talk on Nikki Banz Live because you give a platform for people like me, people who are celebrities, people who are artists, people who are entertainers. You give us a platform to be able to just share things that we don't get to share every day. I want to talk about my mom's passing and how I dealt with grief. I want to talk about things that are important to me as a man in South Africa, combating gender-based violence, combating period poverty, things like that. I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I'm telling you, like, I didn't force it. I didn't try and have a guest, and I just let it flow. And then all of a sudden somebody came to me and said, I'm going to be here on the Tuesday. Even right now, I didn't have a guest for today. So I thought, okay, should I cancel the show? Should I just have not having Nikki Banz Live? And I was like, actually, no, the universe the universe said no to me having a guest for a reason. And the reason was I was meant to just be here and chop it up with y'all. I was meant to just be here and talk to each of you and tell you what I'm thinking, what's on my heart, what's on my mind. And I know that something I'm saying here today could be resonating deeply with one of you and hopefully help shift your perspective, change your mindset on what you're doing and how you're moving through the world. I take all of those things not as setbacks, not as failures, not as things not working. I don't force them. I believe everything happens for a reason and everything happens exactly as and when it's meant to. Let me say that again. Everything happens exactly as and when it's meant to. I am trying not to force anything in life because everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to be happening. And again, this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning about the universe having a timeline for you and you thinking that you're in control of that timeline, right? Your girl Nikki Banz has been saying that I need a show on Netflix, okay? It's a fact. I need a show on Netflix. And the fact is I will have a show on Netflix. The Netflix show is coming. It's not happening on my time because, you know, if it was up to me, I could have been on Netflix a year ago, okay? It's not happening on my timeline. It's happening on the universe's timeline. I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to be out here being like, okay, like, woe is me. I'm so sad that Netflix hasn't called. No, somebody on Netflix is going to watch. Somebody at Netflix is going to see me on Started Up. Somebody at Netflix is going to watch this episode of Nikki Banz Live and be like, yeah, we're going to pick that girl. And it's going to happen exactly when it's meant to. Not when I want it to happen, but when the universe wants it to happen, okay? And that is what I mean by being in a flow state. Letting things flow, letting things happen, and having this deep, I'm holding my belly here, right? This deep trust, this deep sense of self in my gut that everything will happen exactly as I want it to be. That is literally manifesting. Manifesting is not you saying, I want this thing to happen, and then you don't do anything towards it, right? Manifesting is saying, I have this deep trust. I know this thing is going to happen, so I am going to go live every single Tuesday. I am going to connect on LinkedIn with every single amazing person that I met at this conference or at this summit. I am going to continue to have conversations with people who inspire me because maybe I might get a new idea to do something new. Everything happens as it's meant to, and you manifest those things when you put in the hard work behind the scenes and don't force things that aren't happening for you. I see my girl Ilzo G in the chat saying, yes, queen, we are here for your energy. The amazing guests are a lovely bonus. Aw, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. The guests are an incredible bonus. You know, we love the guests here on Nikki Banz Live. And don't worry, I've got plenty of exciting guests coming up for you very soon. I'll give you a little teaser. If anyone has seen the show Indian Matchmaking on Netflix. Speaking of Netflix, if anyone has seen the show Indian Matchmaking on Netflix, I'm going to be bringing you an exclusive interview with someone who is looking for a match on the show. I'm not going to tell you who, but just get excited because, you know, your girl Nikki Banz is always behind the scenes, stirring the pot, making something cool happen. So that is definitely on the way. The amazing guests are coming very, very soon. But every now and then I like a little fireside chat. I like a little opportunity to connect with each of you. And thank you for sharing everything in the chat. Keep typing in the chat. Keep telling me what resonates with you, what you want to know more of. You know, you can ask questions. It's just me and y'all here. We're just here talking, chilling, talking it up, chopping it up. So, you know, y'all have other questions. Y'all have things you want me to expound upon or talk about. I'm literally here for you. Yes, Dana, we starting it up. Shout out to the wine chick in the building. Shout out to my brother Julian in the building, literally in the building. He's here on the live and he's literally here in this house with me on a different floor of the house. So this is really sort of what I wanted to talk about in terms of just being in that flow state. It's so critical. It's so important, that you don't force things and just let things happen as they're meant to happen. I think I had another example that I wanted to share as well. And of course, now I'm forgetting it. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, it'll happen when it's meant to. I'll say what I want to say when it's meant to. But this idea of being in the flow and just going with the flow, I think, again, we misinterpret it to mean that there's like no thought behind it, that there's no energy behind it. There's no, there's no like intentionality behind it. And that's not what it is at all. When I say I'm going with the flow, I'm being very intentional about what's coming up in the future, what I want to be doing, where I want to be going. And when things happen smoothly, they just work. Another thing that we'll talk about quickly, one example I just thought about, and Dana, I see your question in the chat about ever feel like I'm doing a lot. Let me respond to that right after I give this example. But one of the examples I want to talk about is my postcard collection. So many of y'all know that I dropped this postcard collection earlier this year. I love postcards. I love snail mail. I have a pen pal, okay, who I've been writing to for 20 years. For like nobody even writes anymore, and I've been writing to someone for 20 years. I went to her wedding last year. Okay, I literally went to my pen pal's wedding last year. It was like only the second time we had ever met in 20 years of like writing each other letters. So that honestly, the pen pal snail mail, that would be a whole other IG live. We'll talk about that another day. But anyway, I love snail mail. I've always wanted to release this postcard collection. I've always wanted to just take a bunch of gorgeous images from around Cape Town or from around the world and just print them as postcards and just sell them. But for so long, I was feeling hindered. For so long, I felt like I couldn't do that. It was because, society tells us that if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to have your own business, then you need all these things in place. You need to have your tax accountants and your tax lawyers in order. You need to have an LLC, right? You need to have this company. It needs to be legit, it needs to be registered. You need to have proper shipping methods, like all these things. Where I was so intimidated by the idea of entrepreneurship and all that it entailed to actually take something and sell it, to actually take something and put it out there, that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Like I don't have any of those things. Like I don't know how to start a company. All these little things. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just not going to do it. For years, that literally blocked me energetically from starting a postcard collection, from just dropping something that meant the world to me. And what I'm telling you, at the beginning of this year, I just woke up one day and I was like, I'm going to make this postcard collection. I'm going to do it. After 3 years of wanting to start a postcard collection, there was no more force. There was no more me forcing a postcard collection, forcing this business, this Holy Wata business and brand that I've now created with these postcards. It literally flowed. I woke up and I was like, you know what? I want to make this postcard collection. And when I tell you, it took me literally 1 week to identify the pictures on my iPhone that I wanted to use for this postcard collection, to go onto Canva and create a little back with some little lines, a little stamp section, a little QR code in the stamp that, that led to my IG and my YouTube. Literally just type a little like, this postcard is from Camps Bay in Cape Town, South Africa, right? It took me 1 week to do that, to send it to a printer, to get samples, to get them back, check the samples, write on it. Okay, it's good for writing, send it back, and then print the whole dang set. It literally took me 1 week because I wasn't trying to force it anymore. I wasn't forcing the idea of being an entrepreneur. I wasn't forcing the idea of having postcards. It literally just flowed. It came to me and all of a sudden I felt ready. I was like, okay, clearly I was not meant to release postcards 3 years ago when I first had the idea. I was not meant to drop this thing a year ago when I was still thinking about it. It finally flowed. I think this is a good thing too. Any ideas that you have, if you don't have a note or something like on your phone, write them down. Any idea that you have at any time. Because those ideas that you have 3 years ago, 2 years ago, they might be things that you're starting to percolate, starting to marinate on that time ago, but it's not the right time for you to actually launch it. There's some force, there's some resistance energetically. And when the time comes for that thing to flow, I'm telling you, it's going to flow. It's going to be perfect, just like that. So put down all those big ideas, write down all those things that you want to do, because when it's time to flow, it absolutely will flow. It absolutely will flow. And I just want to give a little shout out to some of the homies in the building. Sai is in the building, an incredible content creator and citizen journalist out of India. telling extraordinary stories about ordinary people. He's been an awesome guest on Nikki Banz Live as well. What up, Sai? Amazing to see you, my homie. I see Jay's in the building as well. What's up, Jay? One of my awesome team members from Nas Academy. Good to see you. It's just amazing to see all these beautiful humans tuning in. I love all of you. I'm so glad you're here. Let me take a little sip of this holy water. Speaking of postcards, speaking of holy water. And what I have to say as well is that, honestly, I dropped the postcard collection in the beginning of this year. I dropped the postcard collection in January of this year. And since then, not only did my whole entire 50 sets of postcards sell out, which they did, like not only did all those postcards sell out, my postcards are literally now stocked in a sandwich bar in Cape Town. Like they're at a shop. Like they're stocked at a shop. And that was all within literally 6 months. And that's after 3 years of trying to force it, and it wasn't working, so I didn't do it. And this year, it finally flowed. It finally felt right, and boom, 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 sold out. Literally just selling it on social media, posting it on my stories on Instagram, posting it, talking about it on Nikki Banz Live, talking about it on LinkedIn, and then the whole thing sold out. And then I restocked, and now they're like literally in a sandwich shop in Cape Town. So I'm telling you, don't force things. It's all gonna happen. Everything you've ever wanted in life is going to happen. Let me say that again. Everything that you've always wanted in life is going to happen, but it will not happen on your time. It's gonna happen on the universe's time. Okay? Okay, I see Sai. What's up, Sai? Go, Nicole. Oh, thanks, Sai. Look at you got the little beach umbrellas out and your little emoji, Sai. How did you know I was in LA near the beach? Okay, I'm gonna go back to Dana's question because Dana said, do you ever feel like you're doing a lot but not enough all at the same time? And that is a conversation that you've been having with a lot of friends. Like, do you ever feel like you're doing a lot and not enough all at the same time? Absolutely. Absolutely. All the time. I feel like that. There are a lot of things that I do. Those of y'all that follow me, those of y'all that know me, there's like my personal life where I'm traveling all over the world, where I have a partner who I spend time with and care for and tend to, doing things in my personal life. I'm a plant mom. I have 100 plant babies, right? There's things that happen in my personal life regularly. And then in my professional life, I've got Nikki Banz Live every single Tuesday. I have started up, which has 2 seasons now. Every single April and May, I'm filming the show. I have a bunch of events that I host all over Cape Town. So a women's networking and entrepreneurship event called SheEO, hosting different club nights at places like Souk or Allure. There's a lot of different things that I do. I have 2 consultancies where I'm teaching courses online, on Zoom, connecting with students, connecting with Fortune 500 companies, right? So there's like a lot of things that I feel like I'm doing regularly, and still I feel like I'm not doing enough. And I think that not doing enough bit, for me, it's really my ambition. It's ambition. I think if you feel like you're doing a lot and then you're not doing enough, it's because you're ambitious. It's because you got things that you want to do. You got things that you need to do to change the world, and you want to do them and you want to get those things done. And I think about that all the time. I'm super ambitious, like straight up. I am super, super, super ambitious. And there's so many things I want to change in the world. Big things. I will be a thought leader that changes huge policies and huge things in the world, like big things, y'all. Like I'm talking about, your girl Nikki Banz is trying to end visas. I want to end visas in the world. I do not want anyone in the world to have to travel with a visa. Borders and passports, you want to have those things? Sure, I don't care. That's okay. You need some kind of identity. You need some kind of travel document. I get that. But a visa? Why must you need a visa to travel to this country? Why does someone from South Africa need a visa to travel to Nigeria? Or vice versa. I would like to end visas in the world. These are not small things. These are things that require me talking to thought leaders, heads of states, and changing the world as we know it. And I think about these things like literally all the time. Okay, Sai in the building saying I want to be in the Nikki Banz Nation then. I'm ready, y'all. Come on over. Nikki Banz Island. I'm ready. I'm working on it. I'm truly and seriously working on it. Dana's saying a world changer. There are so many things that I want to do in this world. And so yes, all the time I feel like I'm not doing enough. Am I taking the leaps and the bounds that are great enough to propel me to that space where I can do the things in the world that I not only want to do, but I need to do. I need to do for the world and for the people. So all the time, yeah, I'm thinking that I'm not doing enough. But I think the reminder is that I'm doing everything that I'm doing as I'm meant to be doing it. And there's so much happening behind the scenes every single time that you have an interview, every single time that you speak on a panel, every single time that you put a piece of content or a show or something out into the universe. You literally never know who's watching. You never know who is watching a Nikki Banz live episode on YouTube. You never know who is watching a speech that you gave at the Burj Khalifa. You never know who is watching that and who shares that with somebody else. You literally never know. And so for me, it's like you continue to just put yourself out there to say the things that you want to say, to build a tight-knit, close community of people who know you and know what you're about, the people who say your name in rooms that you haven't even stepped into yet. You continue to put that out there into the world, and somebody's going to pick up on it. Those big things that you want to do, somebody will pick up on it because it's literally your destiny. It is literally your destiny. I'm telling you, like, it is your destiny to do those things, to achieve those massive things in the world that you want to do. And it all will happen. And once again, that's this flow state. It's like knowing that when something is not happening on the timeline that you want it to, it's not because you're not doing the work. If you are sitting here asking yourself these questions, if you're sitting here listening to this and having these conversations, you are doing the work. And let me say it again. You are doing the work, okay? You are literally doing the work, the personal work, the professional work, the self-work. You are literally doing the work to get yourself to where you want to go. And when you're in it, when you're in the struggle, it's like, am I doing enough? Are enough people hearing me? Do I have enough followers on social media? Am I doing enough on different platforms? Should I have something on LinkedIn and on YouTube and on TikTok and on Instagram and on Facebook? Like, you think about all these things. Like, should I just be doing a tour? Should I take Nikki Banz live on the road and literally go sit with people in person in Zanzibar, in Johannesburg, in Windhoek, in Lagos, in Accra, in Abu Dhabi? Like, should I literally just be taking this on the road and seeing people? It's like you're having all those ideas now because all of those things are going to come. And what you're doing now is exactly what you're meant to be doing and will help expand and grow. So I think I think the big reminder is that if you're not doing anything, that's where there's a problem. Right? That's where the problem is. If you're not doing anything, you're just sitting around, you're being lazy, you're not like making the connections that you need to make, you're not fostering relationships that need to be fostered, you're not putting yourself out there, you're not doing something every day that scares you, going live on Instagram for an hour, no guests, just talking to people about random shit. Okay, if you are not doing something every day that scares you, that's when the problem comes in. But if you are doing those things, slowly but surely, I guarantee you're gonna get exactly where you are meant to go. Okay, I see Melissa. I see Melissa in the chat saying, just a reminder I've been needing today, fighting the feeling to rush things big time with my small business. Dropping notes. Yes. Take notes of all the things that you want to do because all of those things will come on the timeline that they're meant to come. You are doing everything right now that you have the capacity to do. You are doing everything right now that you have the capacity to do. And when you have capacity to do more, the universe will be like, cool. Okay, here you go. Boom. Be ready for it. Okay, this is the calm before the storm. You're doing a lot now. You're feeling like, wow, well, I gave this speech and I made this video and I started this business and I put myself out there. And wow, I'm doing a lot, but like I could, should, would be doing more. Yeah, this is the calm before the storm. This is you being prepared to launch into the next evolution, into the next ascension of yourself. So keep doing all the things that you're doing now because you think you're doing a lot now And when the universe decides you're ready for it, and the universe decides that the world is ready for it, because sometimes y'all gotta recognize the world ain't ready for all this that you're trying to bring. What was it in the Destiny's Child song? Bootylicious. I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I don't think you're ready for this jelly. Okay, literally, sometimes the universe ain't ready for all this jelly, like straight up. Okay? Sometimes the world is not ready. The world is not ready for Nikki Banz to come on and say, we need to end visas immediately. President Biden, President Ramaphosa, whoever all over the world is not ready for that yet, but the world will be ready one day, and we're gonna cut those visas. Okay? And once you're ready and the universe is ready and those things combine, magic. Magic. All right. I'm seeing a question from Sai in here. Let me answer this question as we get into the last 15 minutes of the show. Sai says, when you're trying so hard to achieve something, but it just doesn't happen, what keeps you going? Woo! Let me take a sip for this one. That's such a good question. When you're trying so hard to achieve something, but it just doesn't happen, what keeps me going? That's such a great question, because literally I think every single one of us can stop and pause and think right now, like, what is the thing that you're trying so hard to accomplish, but it just hasn't happened yet? Like, in terms of a short term or an immediate term goal. Okay, we can literally all stop and think about that. Like, literally think about it right now. What is the thing that you've been trying so hard to accomplish, but it just hasn't happened yet? I know for me, it's Netflix. For me, it is 100% Netflix. It's 100% Netflix. What I would say is the thing that keeps me going, again, it's this right here. It's my gut. It is my literal gut. Somebody once told me, if you replace the word gut with God, how does that change your perception of what trusting your gut means? Okay, and I say this, and this is coming from someone who's not religious. I'm not religious. I'm very spiritual, I'm very energetic, but I'm not religious. But if you were to change the word gut with God, and you were to say, trust your gut, how does that change and shift the perception of what that means for you? It is literally my gut that keeps me going. It is literally this deep knowing that that thing will happen. And I know it will happen because it has to happen. It's literally my destiny. It's literally my destiny. It has to happen. And for you, Sai, it has to happen. For you, Dana, it has to happen. For you, Melissa, it has to happen. For you, Ills, OG, it has to happen. Julian, everybody who's on here, it has to happen. That thing that you've been working so hard to do, that thing that you've been pushing for, it has to happen. It must happen. It's literally your destiny. So I think the two things to remember are that, one, like I said before, it's not going to happen on your timeline. It's going to happen on the universe's timeline. And two, is that thing happening in a different way? Is that thing happening in a different way? That's the other thing to kind of like realize. I think sometimes we can get so set on like a specific name or a specific brand or a specific something that other opportunities that are very similar or the exact same but in a different way could happen, and then you're not even thinking about it or perceiving it because you're so focused on that one thing. So for example, let me give the example with Started Up. 2 years ago, when I quit my job in international development and diplomacy, and I said, I'm going to be a TV show host, the thing I said from day one was, I'm going to have my own TV show. I said, I'm going to have my TV show, and that's it. And I'm going to have my own TV show. And so what ended up happening was that I did end up having a TV show. It wasn't on Netflix, it wasn't on Disney Prime, it wasn't on Disney Plus, it wasn't on Prime, but it was on YouTube. And now I can literally say I have my own show. My thought was that it was going to be on Netflix, right? I was like, I'm going to have my own show and it's going to be on Netflix. But it didn't happen on Netflix. But now it's happened on YouTube and it's been phenomenal. It's a show where when we film, I get put up in a hotel, I get drivers, we have these phenomenal dinners every single night with the student competitors and with the guest judges. It's a show where I have ownership over the script, where the production team sends me the script in advance and says, what changes do you want to make this sound more inclusive and to make it sound more like your voice? Okay, it's a show where not only do I have season 1 now, I now have season 2, and they're already talking about season 3, right? And so I was so focused on Netflix that I was starting to not even think about or realize, wait, actually, the thing I've been working for, having my own show, actually exists. right now. I have my own show and it's called Started Up, and it's amazing, and it's an amazing production team. It's an amazing crew. Everyone's awesome. And I love it, and I will be a part of that show for as long as I can, forever and ever and ever, because it's actually the show. It's actually my show. So I'm just gonna say, in response to your question, Sai, just make sure that thing that you're working so hard toward, just make sure that it might not be coming to you from a different angle, from a different lens, from a different perspective. Because for real, it might be. It might be coming to you in a different way, a different collaboration, a different name, a different brand. It might be coming to you in a different way, but you're so focused on this very narrow thing that the universe is like, hey, actually, I'm gonna give it to you in this way, because that's how you deserve it and that's how it's meant to be. So I think just keep that in mind. Trust your gut and make sure to be aware that something could be coming to you, that thing that you've always wanted, but perhaps in a slightly different form, okay? In a slightly different outfit. So that's what I would say in response to that. I hope that answers your question, Sai. I hope that shares a little bit of insights there. Maps to Dawn, I'm loving all the hype there. We need a book from you. Hey. Speaking of notes, like Melissa and I were talking earlier, I have definitely written notes for books. I have 3 book ideas in mind. I have a children's book idea. I have a sex book idea. I have so many book ideas. I'm telling you, one day, I'm gonna trust my gut. I'm gonna trust the universe. One day there's gonna be some books for Nikki Banz. It's definitely coming. It's definitely coming one of these days, for sure. And yes, Dana, I see you. So many options. It's good to be open to them. Absolutely. And Melissa in the building with the champagne popping. Yes. So everybody, this has just been an amazing conversation. I'm so grateful to all of you for rocking with me. Fireside chat number 4, y'all. I love my little fireside chats. I love them. Honestly, if any of y'all know a good podcast producer, let me know, because I don't want to do a podcast per se right now, but I do literally have 80 episodes of Nikki Banz Live with great, audio that I could just take and put onto a podcast. So if somebody knows a podcast producer, please slide into my DMs. I literally just need someone to take all the audio from every single Nikki Banz Live episode ever and just put it onto a podcast. Okay, because this could be something that we can share for time and time again. But honestly, y'all, this has been Nikki Banz Live with me, your hostess with the mostest, Nicole Banister, aka Nikki Banz. I love rocking with y'all. It means so much to me that you show up here every Tuesday, no matter what your time zone, no matter where you are in the world. Thank you for supporting me. Please share these interviews. Please share quotes that really inspired you. Share moments that inspired you. If you know amazing guests that you want me to interview, awesome celebs, artists, entertainers, activists, business owners, send them my way. I'm always looking for more dynamic individuals and humans to join the Nikki Banz Live family. So it's just amazing. I appreciate y'all so much. I'm on Instagram @TheyCallMeBanz. I'm on YouTube, Nicole Banister, aka Nikki Banz. You can get involved and go check out Started Up, this amazing season, my show that's been dropped into my lap that I absolutely love and adore. Go check it out and let me know your thoughts. And if you're in Cape Town, you can go buy a postcard at a Moray sandwich. All right, everybody, this is Nicole. Next week for Nikki Banz Live, I'm going to be coming to you from a brand new country in a brand new place. It's going to be vibes. It's going to be amazing. Tune in next Tuesday to find out. In the meantime, I love you all. Trust your gut. Keep an eye out for opportunities coming to you in beautiful different ways. What's up, Lindsay? I see you in the building. Hey, baby. Good to see you. Yo, just continue to keep shining and just continue to remember that you need to go with the flow. Just let things flow. Don't force it. Just let it flow. I'm telling you, that's the move. That's the vibe. Don't force anything. Let it flow. It'll happen exactly when and as it's meant to. All right, y'all. This has been Nikki Banz Live, your favorite interview series where I interview other people or myself. I love you. I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye, everybody.